This hour, the Minister of Energy, Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, says Ghana will leverage on revenues from indigenous oil and gas resources to develop renewable and cleaner energy for world-class advocates. Now, this, according to the Minister, will ensure that the country is not confronted with stranded assets. According to him, the country is strategically planning to overcome the challenges imposed by the energy transition agenda and to move with the rest of the world towards cleaner energy. Well, this is what he told an EU delegation led by the Commissioner for International Partnerships. And of course, as you can see there on your screen, excerpts of that reads that Ghana is a signatory to the Paris Agreement as well as other international protocols which require us to achieve net zero carbon emission by 2050. Now, this is why it has become imperative for us to plan and strategize to steer our country towards a low carbon economy while ensuring economic growth. That's except of that statement to the EU delegation to Ghana. Joining us to discuss is petroleum expert Dr. Suleimana Yusuf. Doc, grateful that you could join us. First of all, is Ghana ready for an energy transition?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Charles. Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to your charity viewers.
Great to have you with us. First of all, as I was asking, is it the right time for Ghana to have an energy transition agenda?
Yeah, it's the right time. There can't be any better time than now, and I think it's the best time, especially for the fact that there hasn't been a situation or an environment where energy transition has achieved what you call a phenomenal support in terms of the massive amount of funds that's actually going to green energy movement. So I think the environment is just right. But I think what is critical is what strategy are we championing so that we don't impact our mainstream hydrocarbon where we have a critical strategic advantage on. So I think Ghana is ready. But if you look at what happened over the last decade, last 10 years, you remember 2010, we gave ourselves a target to achieve like 10% generation from renewables. We couldn't do that by 2020, so it means that the strategy wasn't right. So the minister is right on until we change our strategy to re-strategize to make sure that, we give attention to where attention is due without compromising where we have strategic advantage. Then I think we'll end up reaching 2020 or 2030 where we have shifted the next target and we'll find ourselves wanting. So yes, we need clear strategy to champion energy transition that will not impact, our hydrocarbon production.
Indeed. The sector minister, though, has been cautioned. He's very cautious, actually, in stating that Ghana is strategically planning to overcome the challenges that, come with energy transition. What challenges are we looking at exactly, from your perspective?
Yeah, so from my perspective, there are clear challenges, and I think he mentioned one of them in the statement.
If you can come again on that point, on the existing challenges that can come with energy transition.
When energy transition takes center hold. Hello?
Yeah.
That we can have can you hear me? I think.
Yeah, the line is tripping, but of course we can manage.
Yeah, so the existing challenge is what the minister clearly mentioned, which is a stranded asset. Because the fact that, there's no competition between investment into the world of hydrocarbon and investment into the world of renewables. And I think the main challenge is the fact that assuming energy transition, gets the center stage, it means that investment into the world of hydrocarbon is going to be impacted. And if investment is impacted and we are not able to extract the required resources that we need to champion our developmental agenda, then that's a big challenge. A second challenge for African continent, not only Ghana, is the need to industrialize. I think at this moment, renewable energy is not in position to industrialize Africa. In fact, it's not in any position to even industrialize global community because we have energy security ramifications that are associated with it. There are three things that I think renewable energy has to be able to overcome to be able to be a competitive replacement for hydrocarbon. Renewable has to be competitive, renewable has to be dependable, and renewable has to be available. As we speak in our chart, there is no single renewable energy that can champion heavy industries as we speak. So the fact that we need to industrialize and the fact that we have an upsurge in renewables that is competing with funds with respect to the investment to the world of hydrocarbon is a clear challenge. However, with strategy, I think we need to do that. The parallel investment is the way to go here. In the part of the world where I operate, they are able to take advantage of their world of hydrocarbon and invest into the world of renewables. So the minister said it right. Whatever investment or whatever profits that we are getting from the world of hydrocarbon, we need to make concerted effort to champion that, to channel that part of it to, world of renewable for tomorrow. For one main reason, because hydrocarbon resources are finite. They are not going to live with us forever. So if there is no any other driving force for us to champion parallel investment of hydrocarbon and renewables, the fact that hydrocarbon resources are finite, then should be enough driver for us to make concerted effort to channel part of the revenue that we get from hydrocarbon into the world of renewable.
Indeed. Well, Ghana continues to find a balance between renewable and fossil fuel investments, now at least in the short to medium term. But how sustainable can this be, Doc?
Yeah, that's a good question. Sustainability-wise, the question of what I would say, the question of profitability. We need to make sure that renewable energy becomes profitable. We need to make sure that energy becomes profitable. But as now, carbon is dwindling very fast. Carbon, but there's a challenge on one side. We're going to the world of renewable. It's to make concerted effort. It is sustainable as long as we are able to attract the needed investment into the world of hydrocarbon without compromising. With renewables, without compromising investment into the world of hydrocarbon. The net zero they are talking about by 2050, just net zero doesn't mean zero investment into the world of hydrocarbon. That's what you must get clear. Net zero simply means that those elements like carbon dioxide and methane that are responsible for the global warming, if you're able to capture that, and technology has gone far to be able to capture this kind of element. So if you can capture that, it means that we'll still be able to, invest into the world of hydrocarbon for some time. And yes, the world of hydrocarbon will be with us for some time. And African continent and Ghana for say, one other strategic advantage you have is the forestry. All right, it's a carbon offsetting technology. It's another what we call carbon capture technology. We have natural vegetation and green grass. Forestry that is available. We need to make sure that we grow that. Because at the point in time, when you are going out to the capital market to source of funds to invest into the world of hydrocarbon, they will ask you that what kind of carbon capture technology that you have. And in Africa, I think our main competitive advantage, and Ghana per se, will be our forestry. We can quantify that the level of forestry or the level of afforestation that we have, which is a potential source of capturing carbon, then it can be an opener for us to be able to invest in, to source for funds to invest into the world of hydrocarbon. But indeed, there is a challenge, and the challenge is that investment into the world of hydrocarbon is dwindling, and we need to be aware of that, and we need to strategize to be able to make sure that we have homegrown policies that will be able to take advantage of our indigenous oil and gas resources, so that even at the point in time that it is now self-energy.
Dr. Yusuf Suleiman, we're grateful that you could join us. He's a petroleum expert, and pardon us for the trip in the line there. But of course, we get the import of his message regarding Ghana transitioning to cleaner energy in the future. But let's now delve into matters regarding the trade associations, because the Ghana Union Trade Association has called on government to reconsider its decision to forcibly migrate traders from the VAT flat rate scheme to the standard rate scheme, describing it as discriminatory. Guta, in a press release, insists that traders will not migrate to the standard rate scheme, thus calling on members to fiercely resist any attempt by revenue collectors to do so. You can see that on your screen excerpt of that statement as quoted by the president, saying that we will be compelled to vehemently defend our hard-earned working capital against further depletion, especially in this trying time when businesses all over the world are struggling to survive the global economic crisis. Thankfully, we have Dr. Joseph Obeng to help us explain. But of course, unfortunately, though, we have been trying to reach the Finance Ministry on this, and they've refused to comment. But let's bring on board Dr. Joseph Obeng, President of Guta. Grateful, Doc, that you could join us. Let's put in proper context the reason for your fierce rejection of the standard rate scheme. What exactly is informing your rejection? Doc, if you could kindly unmute so we could hear you better. Yes, you're loud and clear.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Because we cannot look on while we are going to lose our capital through a taxation. It is unfair. We have been paying a flat rate. It's government-owned initiative that migrated at all into the flat rate. First, we were doing side by side the standard rate and then the flat rate. But our government, through its own wisdom, saw to it that all of us come on board to do the flat rate. And we all migrated into the flat rate, big or small companies alike, for the trading community. And this is what we've been doing for the past 5 years. Now, if you migrate us to the standard rate, we are challenged. We are challenged because we don't have the input tax. You understand? Because we are charging the 3%. And then also the input that you pay through the port is also consumed by the government. And so by the flat rate, we do not have the input tax. So if you migrate us all to the standard rate, it means that the standard rate also operates on input and output mechanism. Means that your input should be sorted out with the output before you pay the difference. Now, we are challenged to have the input tax. And then also, a tax should not be discriminatory. Now, they've put a threshold of 500,000. That is enabling some of our members to trade in the flat rate, while others are also being pushed to 18.5%. Whilst yet another portion of the market, people are not registered into the VAT. Means that there's no compulsion also on the part of the consuming public to forcibly buy and receive VAT invoice. And then they have the option, the discretion to buy from these three types of payment, the 18%, 4%, and then those who are not charged. How fair is it? There's no parity in here. It means that those of us who will be migrated to 18.5% are being edged out of business. It's as simple as that. How can we do that? And so the tax should not be punitive. Tax should bring fairness and parity to all of us. And so if they are migrating us, then they should migrate us all into standard. Or if they want us all to do the flat rate like they previously did for 5 years, then we are all in the flat rate. It ensures parity and fairness and equity. And this is all that we are saying. That if they migrate us to the 18.5 or to the standard rate, it means that we are completely being edged out of business, especially when we do not have the input tax. We do not have it, the input VAT, because for 5 years we have been stockpiling goods for 5 years, and without the input VAT. How are we going to charge from here? What are we going to do with our stock pile of goods? And then the technocrats know of this challenge. When you tell them, they say they are coming to take stock of all the goods. How can you take stock of all the goods, about 1 million traders in the country? It's not possible. And so we are saying that government should reconsider and then go through the issues again, and then we put it at a proper we put a proper solution to it. I'm
curious to find out, was there any consultation between leadership of GUTA, the GRA, and the Finance Ministry over this directive?
No, we heard it from the budget. And so in the budget, they said that they are migrating it. So we raised this issue. And seriously, we raised this issue with the Finance Minister, and he directed somebody to coordinate with us and GRA to sort out the grey issues or that, which have not been done. And now they are forcing everybody to migrate. And so the grey issues haven't been ironed out. The fact that we do not have input tax means that we cannot calculate input and output. It means that we cannot operate the standard flat rate. And of course, let me also tell you, much as they are forcing us to migrate into the standard rate, They are not also forcing all importers who give us, who supply us goods, to also be registered and pay the VAT. They have not done that. So most of the suppliers, those who travel abroad and bring the goods and supply to the retailers, are not handing any input VAT to them. And you haven't done all that. It means that we are working on a false premise, and it will not help. That's why, from Bar Reduce time, having recognized of this challenge, they allowed us to be paying the flat rate. The flat rate did not come out of the blue. It came because it came to solve a problem, and a challenging problem like we are facing now.
Great.
And so it may not be fair for three systems of tax payment to be in the market, those that do not charge the VAT, those who charge 4%, and yet another one who charge 18.5% in line, in the same vicinity and the same line of business and all that.
I want to pull out your statement, which reads in part that we will be compelled to vehemently defend our hard-earned working capital against further depletion, especially in this trying time when businesses all over the world are struggling to survive the global economic crisis. What medium to long-term effect can this directive have on businesses of traders?
Yeah, it means that if you force me to pay a tax where I do not have the input tax, all that you are saying is that I should use my own resources to pay you, and which is never done. That's not how the VAT suggests us to do. VAT says the consumer should pay, and I shouldn't use, because I should have the input tax before I can be operative in the standard rate. And then also, I should be competitive in the market. That if you operate in the same vicinity, that the shop next to me is charging 4%, and then the one next to the other shop is not charging, and then I'm charging 18.5%. Are you not taking me out of business? Mm-hmm. Have they thought of this? Where is the fairness? There's no parity in here. And then there's no compulsion on the part of the consuming public that we are in a VAT system. So every Ghanaian should go and search for shops that are registered for VAT. There's no compulsion. So as I'm talking to you, the host, I know that you go to the market and you've bought so many goods without the VAT invoice. And so you have your discretion, you have your choice to make. And that if you are made to pay 4%, will you pay? You pay. And if you are made to pay 18.5%, will you pay? No. So you go searching for those who do not pay the VAT. So the person who is registered for the VAT payment is then being punished. And a tax shouldn't punish people. A tax shouldn't destroy people's businesses. And this is what we are talking about. And so there should be fairness and parity and equity. That's all that we seek.
We're grateful, Dr. Obin, President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, on this matter regarding the migration of traders from the VAT system to the standard rate system. We shall keep an eye on this to give you updates as and when. But away from that to matters of agriculture, soybean producers in the country say the decision by government to temporarily ban the export of soybeans and maize will create enough buffers to attain food sufficiency. Government, through the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, restricted to export of the two commodities as part of measures to ensure food security and enhance feed for the poultry industry. According to the convener of the Rice Millers Association, the move is commendable. We have more in this report.
In response to government's temporal ban on the exportation of maize and soya beans, Yao Edupoku, Emela, and the convener of the Rice Millers Association of Ghana commended the government for the move. He is optimistic that Ghana could be self-sufficient with such measures in the short to medium term to boost the domestic supply of maize and soya beans.
Every country looks out for its citizens, and these commodities are staple diets in the country. So the first thing you do is that you make sure your country have enough food, and then the surplus can be exported. If we don't have enough of that commodity in the system, then it does not make sense exporting it. We are consumers of maize. We are consumers of rice. It is soy that has to go through a process. but we consume soy.
Mr. Edupoko, however, called for a reassessment of the implementation of the Planting for Food and Jobs initiative. He entreated the government to be strategic in dealing with millers across the country.
We need the government that will listen to us. Even if we don't have the degrees to support what we are saying, we are those who are on the ground. Because we are not getting the resources that will make it attractive enough for the banks to come in and invest in us. I must be candid. And the banks cannot put money where they cannot get their money back. And so this calls for the government giving it a holistic approach that I want to build this industry. Once I build it, it will be off my hands and then it will start running on its own. That is not being done. So the milling sector is not supporting the Planting for Food and Job wholly as it should be.
According to the government, the ban will help local farmers to enhance production to help the country store enough food to ensure food security and increase local poultry and livestock production.
On the marketplace, we're going for a short break. To stay with us. Now, the executive director in charge of wholesale and investment banking at the Ghana Commercial Bank, of course, Sam Ado, is entreating financial institutions to invest in the tourism sector. According to him, there is need for a concerted effort by the private and public sector to drive and boost tourism to fight against the menace of unemployment in the country. He spoke to Joy Business at the launch of the Chasing Waterfalls book.
The launch of the Destination Africa's Chasing Waterfalls photo exhibition and tour guidebooks was an initiative by the United Kingdom Ghana Chamber of Commerce and its platinum member, the Ghana Commercial Bank. The project is designed to boost tourism by raising awareness about waterfalls in Ghana and provide information to guide visitors, easing their experience as tourists. Here is the executive director in charge of wholesale and investment banking at the Ghana Commercial Bank, Sam Ado.
So GCP has a social contract to support endeavors such as this in Ghana. It's important that banks and other financial institutions step up to the plate and support any endeavor that's going to showcase the beauty of various parts of Ghana. To be able to drive the sector, we will need a collaborative approach from all stakeholders, and a bank like GCP is prepared to step up and make this support. We joined tonight's event as the platinum sponsor, and I think it's well worth our time to be able to support this.
President of the UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce, Ajoba Chiama, revealed that the chamber will continue to support the tourism sector to drive the economy.
As a chamber, our main objective is to promote bilateral trade between the UK and Ghana. And so any opportunity to promote Ghana to the world, and particularly to the UK, is welcome. And the last 2 years have shown us that it's important that we promote domestic tourism and also tourism into Ghana as the world opens up again. And so, given that Steve Abebio's photography business is a member of our chamber, we are very delighted to support him and promote his work, whilst at the same time promote Ghana to the world.
Project lead Steve Abebio explained the rationale behind the project. He urged corporate bodies to support various waterfalls and tourist sites in the country.
Domestic tourism, I feel, is more powerful than we waiting for foreigners to come and do things. If we get up and do these things ourselves, we will be able to change our economy ourselves. That's why we're doing it. The people in these areas, they are enthusiastic, they're willing to work, but they don't have the tools they need to do a good job. So training and some investment in how they're able to do what they do will go a long way to help.
The project is also expected to draw much needed attention to the importance of Ghana's water bodies and why they must be protected.
And we have more business news on myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Charles Aite. That'll be it for the marketplace. Many thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of our bulletins.